talk about just how challenging this final stretch is? Not only is it on the road, but just to beat teams twice in one season, and now you got three.
Yeah, I mean, with three. Well, this week I'll just stick to that. It's just two tough places to play. Teams that expect to win at home. Teams that have tradition and great following, and Oregon's dealt with a lot of issues, so they've had to battle through injuries and different things this year. So and they've struggled to win lately, and I'm sure that Coach Altman is in their ear about that this week in practice. So we would expect to play a team that's pretty hungry.
They tend to be a challenging defensive team when they're actually playing at a high level. What makes that the case?
Well, I mean, their defense is unique. They're going to come at you with some three-quarter court, some full court zone pressure, and they'll be active, trying to create turnovers, and then in the matchup, it's different. It's not like a straightforward zone or man. It's kind of like a hybrid of kind of both. So you have to try and simulate that as best you can and preparing for it. And then, when they're playing well, they generally manage the game very well, and they try and control the tempo of the game. They reduce some of the possessions because of their willingness to go late in the clock. So there's a lot of reasons that they're strong at the defensive end.
I heard on your radio interview today that you said you felt like Lou was playing his best of the year. What makes you say that? What do you see from him right now?
I just think his overall complete game. I mean, he's rebounding. He's scoring in the paint. He's making pretty good decisions out there. He's keeping the defense honest with making a couple threes a game. He's guarding the ball like as good as I've seen a guy is on the ball defense, especially. I thought it was really good live and watching the film again just to see the energy that he is exerting. Guarding the other point guard, it has to be exhausting for a guy to have to deal with that if he's really focused on doing it.
Do you think with the way he's played at both ends, that makes him a strong candidate for Pac-12 Freshman of the Year?
I mean, everyone's going to have their own preference based on like their own situation, but I mean, he's as good as anybody that I've seen, and he's one of the best freshmen in the country, in my opinion. Just on all the times he's delivered, in a lot of big games, both in conference and in the non-conference.
When you look at the team as a whole, comparing to November, all the way now to the last week of February, what are the noticeable differences you're seeing in the team? Well,
I just think that we've been more consistent about getting a better shot, like thinking about shot selection, sharing the ball, ball movement, and not going too fast. I thought maybe we were a little bit impatient in the first half versus Cal, but really turned it around with how we were focusing on getting a great shot by moving the basketball.
I think Rob Edwards has kind of been a secret weapon almost. When he's on, it's another option for you guys, and he seems unguardable on the perimeter.
I mean, he opens so many other things up for other guys, even if teams are going to have to start thinking about him more because of what he did at Utah and and what he did versus Stanford and Cal, and so there's another weapon on the floor that has shown the last 3 games that he could put up big numbers. So not only his scoring, but what that does to open up the floor and give his teammates more opportunities.
What do you think has led to that maybe tick up in his play? Has it been the patience from other guys? Shot selection helped him?
I touched on this earlier. He missed a lot of time, and when you miss that significant amount of time right at the start of a non-conference, he with his back, and then he's been on a very, very strict stretching routine and physical therapy, and there's a lot of things he's doing beyond just what we do on the floor just to get himself to the point where he's healthy enough to play at a good level. And so he's had to work against that. But I just think it's his mindset, his approach to every game lately. He's been locked in and dialed in and he realizes through our messaging how important he is to what we do. So I think he's starting to believe in himself more and get more confidence.
This is the guy you thought he was. Right. I mean, in preseason, he's good enough to be our leading scorer.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of know from workouts in the summer and fall, like what he's capable of doing, what you're seeing, day to day, and then knowing, like Zylan seems like he's getting every rebound in July. Well, that's what he's doing now too. So you see, Remy's playmaking. You see Dort's just force and talent, and when you're watching Rob play, you see he's just a natural born scorer. And I just always felt like he was, probably had the best chance of leading us in scoring this year. It hasn't, come out that way completely, but there's still a lot of season left, and I know he's playing his best that he's played all year.
How much do you think the back influenced that? Just even, as you said, missing a couple months, but when you come back, how tough is it to get back in that transition?
Yeah, when you miss a month right at the start of the season, and you're losing all time to develop chemistry with your teammates and feel like you're in rhythm when you're out on the floor and figuring out what your role is going to be. So you're going through a lot of different things to reintegrate yourself into what the team is doing. And the team was playing very well as he's trying to get back anyway. So there's even more of an adjustment for him.
Do you think there's more to be squeezed out of this team on the offensive or defensive end?
Well, I just think that, our defense, I think, could be fairly consistent. We coming off a week where we gave up 62 and 59, which is great. I think offensively, the games that we have struggled in, we have not shot well. So, when you put a game like Utah together at Utah, and you shoot the ball like that and play that way on offense, then we're on a different level, and we're already really good. And then we go to a different place.
How has the team become more conditioned since adding Daniel to the staff?
Daniel does a great job. He's young. He's energetic. He's got great ideas. He does a great job in the weight room, and we meet about everything relative to the players' strength and conditioning and ideas for the future, new innovative things that we could do as a program to continue to build that. He travels with us. It's been the first time that I've done that as a coach and as a head coach. So I got a lot of confidence in what he does on the road, with our players, stretching them, getting them ready to perform.
Are you backing up or kind of reducing practice at this point just to kind of conserve bodies and energy?
Yeah, we try not to waste time. We try to be very efficient. We have a plan for what we think we need to work on for the opponents that we'll face this week, and then we want to keep our guys fresh physically. There's still going to be a very difficult conditioning standard that we have in our practices. There's not a lot of downtime, and we're going to move from thing to thing, and so that there isn't much recovery because that's what happens in the game. But it's no longer the first few weeks or the first 2 months where the length of the practice has been cut back, pretty significantly.
During Pac-12 play, when you have that extra day and you play on a Sunday instead of a Saturday, have you noticed the team responding? Different compared to from Thursday, Saturday?
Yeah, there's no particular way that I like it either. If you're playing with 1 day in between, then you're getting yourself ready for postseason because that's what happens in the tournaments, or in the Pac-12 tournament. There's not as much recovery. It's day after day after day. So I don't mind it that way. From a get your team, revitalized. It's certainly better to have the 2 days in between. So I don't mind that.
Even this late in the season, are there things you guys can do to get a little bit more consistent with the shooting and the offense?
I just, again, it becomes a focus on our movement and our energy and our willingness to share the ball and be patient, and then that might take 7 or 8 seconds in a possession, or it might take 20 seconds. But we just have to be mature enough and understand that that's important, and then the shots will take care of themselves.
You mentioned the movement part. When you go back and look at games where you guys didn't shoot well, is it just because shots weren't falling, or was it because guys weren't moving without the ball and getting open?
Some of it is, we're not allowing ourselves to do what we do well, which is offensive rebound. If you take an early quick shot in a possession that your teammates don't expect, then generally you're not going to be in a position to rebound the ball and get another possession. And so when we have good shot selection, or we just don't go against the numbers. If you got numbers, then we'll try and go in the transition game. But if we don't, then we need to have the discipline to work through a possession, and I think our guys have shown a more willingness to do that.